So we'll move on to the ranking. Like I say, classic me fashion, top 10 films pre-1960. We'll do exactly what we did with George's. So go through the 10 to 6, then we'll go into 5 to 1 a little bit more detail. Cam, I'm going to kick it off with you first. I'm most intrigued by yours. I can't lie.
Yeah, I mean, I just had it. It's bad, man. So we're doing top 10 or top 5. I was kind of
Do top 10, like George, like the 10, 6, and then 5, 10.
Yeah, so that's depressing. Again, I'm
Do you want me
just
to give you time?
I'm ready to go if you want.
George, you go first.
I'm ready.
Cam's ready. Cam's ready.
So at number 10, we're doing 10 through 5, right?
Yeah, 10 through 6.
At number 10, yeah, that's what I mean. And this is pre-1960s.
Yes. Yeah. So not 1960.
Okay. Yeah. This is gonna be something special. At number 10 is Fantasia, the old Disney banger.
I don't know what that is.
It's 1940. It's like Disney's. I haven't watched it in a while, to be quite honest with you. It's Disney's, like, it's just music basically the entire movie, and then it tells story through music. It is really great. I enjoyed it a ton as a kid. I enjoyed it when I rewatched it. At number 9, I'm gonna go with Citizen Kane. Still a good movie. Just it's not like the best thing ever, but it's still a good movie. Don't get me wrong. At number 8, I will go with Vertigo from Alfred Hitchcock. Big fan of that. At number 6, I believe I'm on, right?
7.
Yeah.
Wait, 7. Yeah.
7. I will go with The Lady and the Tramp. And then at number 6, we are gonna go with. I'm not going off my like number orders. We'll go with Singing in the Rain from 1952. Big fan of Singing in the Rain.
Yeah. George? Oh, no, it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's fine.
I've seen like 15. So
yeah,
like,
15?
I mean, I got like 15 here.
God,
so.
I'm like right there with Cam. I haven't seen too many pre.
What do you want from me, man?
Like, yeah, it's not my forte. I enjoy these movies, but I definitely got to expand my filmography in this time frame. My number 10 is Miracle on 34th Street, one of my favorite Christmas films. Number 9 is The 400 Blows. I know Seth. I'm maybe expecting to see that in your top 5, honestly. My number 8 goes to Rome Open City. Just a really good look at Nazi occupation, and it's just one of those like incredibly tragic films to watch. My number 7 is the original Peter Pan film.
Dope.
Really like that movie, I guess. And then my number 6 is It's a Wonderful Life. Another just really heartfelt, endearing film. You know, I expect to see that one also on a few of your lists, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Tyler?
Yeah, so when you initially listed this prompt, I wanted to kind of do like my own more further deep dive because I haven't logged anything obviously that I haven't seen since like beginning of 2022. So a lot of like the classics, like the Casablanca, Citizen Kane's, all those of the world, the Miracle on 34th Street, I've seen all those, but I don't have them logged. But I figured, you know what, instead of like kind of trying to throw those in there, even though I haven't logged them, I'm just going to go with what I have logged because I don't know, it might add some more, since I feel like a lot of you will already talk about those kind of movies. So I'll go with the ones I've logged just to kind of keep it fresh. So number 10, I have Modern Times, Charlie Chaplin from 1936. Not my favorite silent film of the era by any stretch of the imagination, but Charlie Chaplin is obviously one of the most influential writer, actor, directors of all time. And then number 9, I'll go with 1903's The Great Train Robbery. It's like a 20-minute short, but it's old school cinema. And I went through like a kick back in like, I don't know, it was probably like 5-6 months ago at this point now, but where I just watched so much stuff from like the early 1900s, and The Great Train Robbery was pretty dope. And like basically like the final, like I won't ruin it, but the final, well, okay. Can you spoil a movie from 120 years ago?
No. Yeah, if you're spoiling this for anyone, they deserve to have
spoiler alert for a movie that came out before your great grandparents were born. The Great Train Robbery. So it basically ends with like a guy shooting a gun like right at the camera, and it's like a really one of the coolest like iconic shots in history. But like I guess like blanks were a thing at the time, but they're like super rare and uncommon. So a lot of people like watch that shot and they're like, I wonder how they filmed this, because literally just like a dude like filming a guy like shooting right at the camera, and like 99% sure like they literally just shot a real bullet and they just dodged out of the way, which is just wild, especially because like guns at that time in the early 1900s weren't like, you know, point and shoot perfectly accurate. So just ballsy move for sure. And then number 8, The Most Dangerous Game. obviously
yeah.
another
Power
incredibly influential one that's inspired so many survival horror movies of modern day. Numbers 10, 9, 8, 7. I have Nosferatu, again, very influential film that influenced all kinds of Dracula movies like Last Voyage of the Demeter and Nosferatu coming out next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then number 6, we'll get a Bergman on here and we'll go Wild Strawberries.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot you watched that one actually. Nice. Okay, so my 10 to 6. 10 is going to be the Japanese silent film Page of Madness, just an insane watch, crazy experience. 9 is going to be Hitchcock's Dial M for Murder, one of his many mystery films, probably my favorite of his. 8 is going to be Sunset Boulevard, which I guarantee all 3 of you would love if you haven't seen already. Sunset Boulevard is fantastic, one of Billy Wilder's best, I'm assuming. Anyway, 7 is To Be or Not to Be, a World War II, came out in 1942, a satire of the time, still hilariously funny to this day. And I don't usually like slapstick comedy, but that really works for me. And 6 is going to be Seven Samurai, which I assume, no, it's not. Have I done the order wrong here? What did I say the last number?
To Be or Not to Be?
Oh shit!
That is the question.
I've put down 9 films.
Bro hasn't seen any movies for 1960.
Bro hasn't seen shit
Watch more old movies, man.
What are you
Watch
doing?
Real Cinema.
Oh my
I'll go-
god! Is this
I'll-
your king?
I'll go. Shit, man! Like, where is it gone? I had it down here somewhere.
Seth's film reviews exposed.
Yeah, this kid just got exposed.
Big
Actually,
old
this
film
is crazy.
fan. Hasn't seen Bergman? Question mark.
Black and white equal L? Question mark.
Just
Shit, man.
the best thumbnails in the world. Seth's film reviews doesn't know what color is.
I had 10 down. I've lost one. I'll just have to make one up.
Seth, I hope you know this
King
is gonna
Kong.
be a TikTok clip, by the way.
Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
I'll go. Shit, man. What do I take?
Modern Times.
Captain America
No,
before he
I don't
time
like
travels.
modern times. I don't love modern
Yeah.
times.
The first half of the winter.
First Avenger.
The first Avenger. The first half of it.
This is fucking hilarious.
The end of Dial of Destiny when they go to like 300
When they go
BC.
back- Yeah.
I'll go. I've got like
Set-
5 to choose from. I'll go. It's a Wonderful Life. Let me go through them again from 10 to. No, I won't. I'll go All Quiet on the Western Front. There, sorted, done. Right. 10, Page of Madness. 9, Dial M for Murder. 8, All Quiet on the Western Front. 7, Sunset Boulevard. 6, To Be or Not to Be. And that's it. I've already given away my 5. Carry
that's
on.
fine.
Who went first? I can't even fucking remember.
Is it me next?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it is me. So number 5, I will go with. I'm gonna say in the 5 slot will be "It's a Wonderful Life." I do enjoy that movie. It's absolutely makes me cry. Not real tears because I'm a robot, but makes me internally cry a little bit. Very, very, very heartwarming movie. Big fan of "It's a Wonderful Life."
Good on the fly joke with the you can't actually cry because you're a robot. Good.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
What's that?
Try.
Why is that joke going over my head?
Because he was roboting his voice, like his voice is breaking up. So he's like, I don't have emotions because I'm a robot.
I was like,
So I've got to clip that. So
in my head, I'm like, where is there a robot and it's a Wonderful Life that I'm missing?
I didn't know, Cam. How are you able to know that you were breaking up? Like, could you just see your screen
No,
lagging?
I thought the joke was just that I like.
No, he didn't know the joke.
Oh, that joke works. That joke was layered, dude. Because your voice is breaking up because your
Yeah.
internet is deep
That's her
cut.
comedy.
That's
Is it
great.
George?
That's a great screenplay right there.
Yeah, George, your 5?
My number 5 mentioned already, All Quiet on the Western Front. One of just the better war films out there. One of the better book to film adaptations out there. Definitely due for a rewatch. And honestly, like looking at this ranking, I think a lot of these movies I'm due for a rewatch. But as of right now, that's a 4.5 out of 5 for me. I guess the last time I watched it was probably a couple of years ago. So my number 5 right now, but honestly, if I rewatched every movie on this list, this ranking could look a lot different.
So, Tyler?
Yeah, okay. So number 5 is hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I thought I pulled a Seth for a second. I did not. I'm okay. Number 5, A Trip to the Moon. Georges Méliès, one of the most influential directors of the early cinema. And this is like a movie that like genuinely blew my mind. Like it's still in like an 8 out of 10 for me because like it's just like I'm just gonna be honest with myself. It's not like a movie that I'm gonna watch all the time or really revisit, but I couldn't go lower than that because it's like it's from what year is it from? It's from 1902. And 02. And I was like literally dumbfounded. I was like, how did you even do this before like computers were a thing, before anything was a thing? Like the effects in this were crazy. Just a wild movie. It's like 15 minutes and I believe it's on Max too. So I like, if you're listening to this and you just have like 15 minutes to kill after our podcast episode, just watch it. You'll be blown away by like how they put that movie together. But that's what A Trip to the Moon is what I put at number 5.
Okay. So my number 5, I already gave it away, is Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. So which is one of the blueprint for an action blockbuster. An incredibly tantalizing epic that showcases human nature in such a way I don't think many directors can. It's exciting. The set pieces are so incredible, especially for that time period as well. And I think the 3.5 hour runtime just goes by surprisingly quickly, honestly. And that is, well, my second favorite Kurosawa, obviously Ran being my favorite, but just one of the best, probably the best action film I've ever seen in terms of the sequences it showcases alongside Ran. And I think just it feels like you're almost watching a documentary of Seven Samurai. It feels like you're watching something that's there because of the amount of research that went behind it. So Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai is my number 5. George or Cam? Which Cam? Number 4 is Cam. You're on mute.
Yep, sorry, I was muted. The reason I'm muted, I had to bring my dog in here because while I don't have Bailey, and that's fantastic, I got a damn puppy who is. I folded all these clothes on the couch, and he's just ripped them all down. So now I'm a little pissed off at him for that. But so yeah, my pup's in here now. But my number 4 is my dad's favorite movie of all time, Casablanca. I do very much enjoy it. Yeah, it's very much a dad film. It's something I've watched a million times, just like growing up. I probably don't love it as much as him, but I do think it's awesome. Or I do think it's very, very good. So that is my number 4.
Nice, George.
My number 4. I think we'll see this on Seth's list, maybe, and that's Paths of Glory.
You think
maybe?
Yeah. Okay, right. I know we'll see this on Seth's list. It's Paths of Glory. Not much needs to be said. One of the great war films out there. One of the most heartbreaking and devastating watches in the war genre. Obviously, war films in general are devastating in nature, but this one is just one of the most raw and real films in that genre. It's one of those films that honestly doesn't even feel like it's scripted, doesn't even feel like it's a movie. It just feels like a camera is just truly following the events that are taking place, which I just think adds so many layers to just how devastating and real it feels. Again, just like All Quiet on the Western Front, another film that I'm for sure due for a rewatch. And honestly, I think on rewatch, it'll be ranked higher for me. But right now, Paths of Glory sitting at my number 4 spot.
Nice. Tyler?
Yeah, my number 4 is a movie that when it comes to like early cinema, silent film era is just like never talked about. So I try and recommend it whenever I can because I never hear people talk about it. I feel like kind of gets overshadowed by like the Charlie Chaplins of the world. But Safety Last is like what I genuinely found it to be super funny, super well done. I'm trying to find who like the main character is in that because he was like in a ton of silent film. I think Fred.
Isn't it Buster Keaton?
Is it? No, it looks like. Oh no, Harold Lloyd is who I was thinking about. So Harold Lloyd, he was in so much stuff. Like he was like basically like the number 2 to Charlie Chaplin almost at the time. Like he's in so many of these silent films, but he doesn't get the same recognition. Safety Last, I thought was hilarious. It's super well done as well. Another one similar to Trip to the Moon. Where I'm like, damn, how did they pull this off way back in? This one was 1923. But yeah, Safety Last, good silent film, comedy, thriller. I enjoyed it a lot.
Nice. Thanks. My number 4 is one that I think, George, you had on your top 10, and that is Francois Truffaut's debut, The 400 Blows. Just probably one of my favorite coming of age films ever. Just a simple narrative surrounding a less than fortunate child going around the streets of the dark, realistic, Paris. I think the visuals are stunning. It's drowning in realism. It's heartbreaking, but it's also optimistic. I think one of the final shots is amazing. I always recommend it to people who like Moonlight, because I think a lot of the shots are strikingly similar, and Moonlight took a lot of inspiration. I think I spoke about that with you, Tyler, on our draft or something we did. What did we do?
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember what the draft was, but yeah, we spoke about that.
Yeah, we spoke about that on a previous episode. And I actually need to go into more of his filmography because I haven't since. And yeah, definitely one of my favorite coming of age films ever. Definitely one of my favorite films. I think it's within my top 40, 30, that kind of area. I think this is actually like 1959 as well, so it just fits the bill for me. But yeah, Fragile Truffaut's debut, The 400 Blows, is my number 4. Cameron, into your top 3.
My top 3, Seth will be happy to see this one. It's Paths of Glory.
Nice.
George mentioned everything that I need to mention. 94 out of 100. I forget, we talked about it on the pod once. I forget exactly why it's maybe not like a 5 out of 5, but there was something
To
about
annoy
it.
me. That's why.
Yeah, probably just to piss Seth off. But 94 out of 100. I really loved Paths of Glory. I don't know how memorable it's been, maybe for me at least, but I thought it was great on first watch, so it is my number 3.
My number 3 comes from the great Akira Kurosawa, and that is his film Ikiru. Yeah, this was one of those films I watched for the first time. Maybe had to be like towards the end of 2022, and it had me just hysterically crying in bed like a little bitch. It's meditative. It's a beautiful analysis on life and one's purpose in life. It's incredibly thought-provoking, and it's also just really tragic. But it's presented in a very, it's weird to say, it's like it's tragedy presented in a very heartwarming way, which it probably doesn't make sense unless
No, it does.
Yeah, unless you've like seen the film, you'll kind of like understand, where I'm coming from.
Isn't it the
that.
same as like Living? Isn't that like the
I never saw
Living's just a
Living.
remake of it, or like
Yeah,
a
Living's the
British
remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never saw Living. But yeah, it just deals with such heavy themes that I think a lot of people can relate to. Again, just on life, love, happiness. Your purpose. This kind of feels like very, and obviously I'm not really too knowledgeable on Kurosawa's filmography. I haven't seen too many of his films, but this feels like the most unique in terms of its very subtle storytelling, which I absolutely love. So yeah, Ikiru right now, that is my first 5 out of 5 on this list, and that is my number 3.
Nice, that's a good one. I need to watch that actually. I still haven't watched it. Tyler, your number 3.
My number 3, another one of Seth's favorites, The 400 Blows, Francis Truffaut, from 1959, so right on the border of being able to pick it. But yeah, I feel like we've talked about this movie a lot, so I won't go too deeply into it. But just a great story of how like just an innocent child can just be corrupted by the world around him. A great crime drama. Just kind of made me depressed, honestly, watching it. But yeah, that's a 9.3 for me. So I rate it very highly. Might go up on rewatch even if I give it another shot. But yeah, one of my favorites for sure.
Cool. My number 3 is Billy Wilder's Some Like It Hot. So I watched it for the first time like a month ago, and then went to see it in the cinema, surrounded by like 80-year-old couples. It was just a great experience, man. Just like laughing. It's such a loving, emotional film. On case of sexuality, on doing the right thing, on the sexualization of women, especially in that era as well in the Western world. And I think it's so funny. It makes me feel. It just makes me feel good. It's so funny. It's so happy. The ending is just it's so beautiful, and I think it's one of the greatest screenplays ever written, or at least I've seen, which you will see in our upcoming draft. Obviously, like I did mention it in there as well. I'd recommend it to all you. I think it's just incredible, and it's one that I think I'll continue to rewatch over and over again. I can definitely see it coming higher and higher up my favorites list. So my number 3 is Billy Wilder's Some Like It Hot. Cam, even into the top 2. You are muted, Cameron.
Fuck yeah. Love this. My top 2, getting into my 5 out of 5s. is, I believe, the best movie ever, according to Seth's mutuals on TikTok. 12 Angry Men. It's one of the, that was number one, right? Seth?
Was that number one?
I think that was number one, right?
No, it's number 2. Wait, oh, sorry, on my thing.
Yeah,
But-
on your thing.
The
No,
poll
it
you
was
did.
It was 2001 that was number 1, I think. Oh no, wait, was it? I can't remember.
No, I think it was 12 Angry Men. I like 12 Angry. I love 12 Angry
You're
Men
right.
a lot. I think it's one of the best screenplays ever. Obviously, 95 out of 100, right on that cusp for me. It wasn't on my top 10, but it is definitely in my top 10. These pre-1960s. It's known for its screenplay, right? It's one of the best at that, and very much deserves that. It's very, very intriguing and pulls you in right away. And keeps you hooked for the whole movie. And I'm sure I'm not the last person to speak about that one, but
Well,
maybe. But
you are right. It was the number 1 in my list, but I've now remembered the one I forgot in my original ranking. It was
yeah.
12.
It was 12 Angry Men. Yeah, there
It
you
was
go.
12. That was meant to be 7th, and that's what I forgot that I didn't note down. It's really annoying.
Confirm. Seth doesn't know cinema. Confirm.
Seth doesn't watch anything pre-2000.
Yeah.
Valid. Never.
Locked in.
True.
Josh. Yeah, my number 2, and I expect to see this in pretty much everyone's top 2, I think. And that's Seven Samurai. This is one film where I'll just never understand like the criticisms of like it's long, it's boring, it's a great movie, but I'll never rewatch it. Like I think the complete opposite. I think this is just one of the most like awe-inspiring, enthralling experiences you could ever watch. It's a blockbuster through and through. I know a lot of people want to refer to this as like a smaller art house, whatever, blah blah blah. But this is a blockbuster. It's one of the greatest blockbusters ever. It's just massive scale. It's incredibly, it's a blockbuster that's down to earth. It feels philosophical. It feels very meditative. You're kind of running through a lot of human emotions while also just kind of being enthralled by this incredible samurai epic. Absolutely love this film. I guess for me, my 2 and 3 were back-to-back Kurosawa. So, not really selling it short to say that this man knows how to make good films.
Really? Hot take.
Yeah, he's got some bangers, no doubt.
Yeah.
Seven Samurai, my number 2.
Tyler, your number 2.
My number 2, Singing in the Rain. I'm a big musical guy, and Singing in the Rain's kind of probably the most iconic musical ever made, if we're being honest. So I'd say it lived up to the hype. It was actually my first. Well, I mentioned this when I first watched it, but it was kind of like my first real watch. I watched it a lot as a kid. Like, and Singing in the Rain song was like a banger for me when I was a little adolescent, but don't actually remember like anything from the movie because I was so young when I'd watch it on VHS all the time. But yeah, Singing in the Rain, 9.4 out of 10. Probably will go over to 5-star on a rewatch. I'm being honest with myself. But yeah, Gene Kelly's Singing in the Rain is definitely one of my favorites from the pre-1960s.
Yeah, I'm going to see it on the big screen next week, Tyler.
Ooh,
very
fun.
Yeah. My number 2 is one that I swear I'm speaking about every podcast episode. Does anyone want to guess?
Your number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Lost Highway. Don't know when that came out.
That's
though.
1990. So
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know when any of these films. Fanny
You
and
could-
Alexander.
97 even. No, that was 80s. Right, I think I'll just tell you because you guys are just
Yeah, we're throwing out guesses, man.
Yeah, I don't know my years.
So my number 2 is I think one of the best sequels ever made. That's The Bride of Frankenstein. What I feel like I've been speaking about quite a lot recently. Yeah, just one of the most amazing, heartwarming, charming, and also sad satires, comedies ever. I think it's astounding what they did with the practical effects, the sets, the dark, misty atmosphere, Frankenstein's character, the introduction of the bride, who's in it for like 2 minutes, so it don't fucking matter anyway. But it's such a touching and loving story on friendship, on treating others how you want to be treated, especially in that period. I think is even more outstanding. And it's definitely for me one of the best sequels ever made. It surpasses the first one by a long shot, even though I do actually really like the first one as well. And it's probably my favorite film, my favorite I'm a big Universal monster movie guy. There's a lot of them around that period that I love, but I think that would be my number 1. So The Bride of Frankenstein is my number 2. So we are now into the top 1, and I can guess what Cam's is straight away, but I'll let you say it, Cameron. You're muted. Great.
Damn it. Damn it. And I knew I was that time. I was looking at my screen. I started talking, and I'm like, oh, I'm still muted. 100 out of 100. I think it's one of the best movies of all time. Obviously, it's Seven Samurai. I need to revisit it soon. It's one of those that like George said, it's just an absolute epic. I've never heard anyone call it like an art house, like small movie, but I mean, compared to movies today, I guess maybe, but
no, I didn't mean like not art house. I just mean like no one ever talks about it like in the grand scheme of like blockbusters. I feel like I feel like labeling a movie as a massive blockbuster, some people think is like disrespectful or something.
Yeah, well, it's one of the best action, like pure action movies I've ever seen. Gripping, emotional, incredible action. It's got all of that. I adore Seven Samurai. I think it's technically one of the best movies I've ever seen as well. 100 out of 100 for me. Fantastic. Obviously, it was going to be number one.
Nice. George?
Yeah, my number one, we've touched on it already. It's 12 Angry Men. Again, we'll talk about it this week on one of our Real Quicks, obviously, when we draft the best screenplays, but it's one of the best scripts out there. It's just one of those movies that across the board is just perfect, from the script to the dialogue to the delivery to the story. It's just one of those movies that I just cannot find a flaw in. It's brilliant in my mind. Definitely deserving of the reputation that it has as an all-time great in terms of writing. It's my number one. I won't harp on it too long. I feel like we've talked about 12 Angry Men several times across many episodes. But yeah, right now, 12 Angry Men, my number one pre-1960s film.
Nice. Tyler, number one.
Yep, 12 Angry Men. Enough said.
Fucking nerds.
The originality of ReelTok.
The social network is written better.
Anyone want to guess? My number one. Surely you'll guess.
Paths of Glory.
My number one is Paths of Glory. What a surprise.
Mid.
It's on your list, bro. What are we talking about here? Just for me, one of the greatest sort of anti-war, I guess, satires ever made. I think it's genius. I think it's brilliant. I echo everything George said. I think Kubrick just goes into so much research in terms of the humane impacts of war, the impact on the soldiers, and I think it's one of the best courtroom dramas ever written, along with obviously 12 Angry Men, which you've already mentioned. Paths of Glory is, of course, going to be my number one. It's funny enough, it's my number one, but it's like my fourth favorite Kubrick film, which goes to show how highly I rate him as a director, of course. But yeah, that is my number one. So if we all want to run through our 10 to 1, if you want to go first, 10 to 1.
This I saved it. I was 10 Fantasia, 9 Citizen Kane, 8 Vertigo, 7 Lady and the Tramp, 6 Singing in the Rain, 5 It's a Wonderful Life, 4 Casablanca, 3 Paths of Glory, 2 12 Angry Men, and number 1 Seven Samurai, a perfect movie.
We got
Cam, do you want to run through your 10 to 1 again by any chance?
I heard all 10 of those perfectly.
Did it fuck up?
Yeah. I actually did hear all 10.
Yeah,
I
got all 10 of them, but Cam, like the world just doesn't want him to talk about pre 1960 movies.
Dude, I'm being attacked by my computer right now. They just don't want to hear me talk about it. You're exactly right. Move on. Nobody cares about my takes on this unless you truly want to hear. Unless you truly want to hear it again. But if Tyler,
do it again.
Fine. 10 Fantasia, 9 Citizen Kane, 8 Vertigo, 7 Lady and the Tramp, 6 Singing in the Rain, It's a Wonderful Life at 5, 4 Casablanca, 3 Paths of Glory, 2 12 Angry Men, number 1 Seven Samurai.
That's W in my books.
That's what we needed for the clip. Great.
My number 10, Miracle on 34th Street. My number 9, The 400 Blows. My number 8, Rome, Open City. My number 7, Peter Pan. Number 6, It's a Wonderful Life. Number 5 is All Quiet on the Western Front. I have Paths of Glory at 4, Ikiru at 3, 7 Samurai at 2, and 12 Angry Men at number 1.
Tyler, 10 to 1.
My number 10, The Great Train Robbery. Number 9, Modern Times. Number 8, The Most Dangerous Game. 7, Nosferatu. 6, Wild Strawberries. 5, A Trip to the Moon. 4, Safety Last. 3, The 400 Blows. 2, Singing in the Rain. And 1, 12 Angry Men.
Cool. Okay, my 10 to 1 is 10, Page of Madness, 9, Dial M for Murder, 8, All Quiet on the Western Front, 7, Sunset Boulevard, 6, To Be or Not to Be, 5, 7 Samurai, 4, The 400 Blows, 3, Some Like It Hot, 2, Bride of Frankenstein, and 1, Paths of Glory.